Hey everyone, Scrapper Brad here. So I have a low-grade circuit board. At least that's how my scrapyard would take it. It doesn't have any visible gold that I can see, but it does have several things like these copper transformers, some MOSFETs, can't remember which they're called right offhand, some rolls of copper, and this metal, well, I'm not sure if it's a heat sink or not. I don't know if you can see, but this doesn't quite appear to be aluminum to me. However, a magnet does not stick to it. So I'll file that in a minute to see if it's something besides aluminum. In the meantime, I'd like to find out how much more money I would make by removing some of these components as opposed to turning it in as a low-grade board at my scrapyard. Now my scrapyard is currently paying 15 cents a pound for low-grade boards, and this weighs half a pound. So I'd get between 7 and 8 cents for this. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the components and weigh them separately and see what kind of value we can add. As I mentioned, the first thing I'd like to do is file this to see what kind of metal that is. And that is actually brass. I don't know if you can see if the light shows that well enough, but that is actually brass. But that's a very pleasant surprise. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to remove this. Remove this little, or at least spread it open a little like that. Make sure the MOSFETs are fully disconnected. There we go. Got that removed. Now this does have star screws, so I'll remove the MOSFETs right now as well. So there we have a clean piece of brass. Now it doesn't weigh all that much, but I think on its own I'm willing to bet that it's worth at least as much as the rest of the circuit board if I did nothing else to it. We also have these MOSFETs as well, or MOSFETs again. Go ahead and correct me in the comments. But these are fully covered in plastic. Now my scrapyard will give me something like 50% copper or 80% copper, depending on whether these are covered in plastic or not. So I do keep them separate from the ones where the copper is exposed. So from here there's this other board. It has some MOSFETs as well. These looks like they're glued to the board itself, so those might be a little harder to take off. However, there is a small IC chip as well, and I'm not sure the current price at Board Sort, but last I checked these were about $9 a pound. Now it does take a fair amount of them to add up in weight, but $9 a pound? That's really not bad, and I think if I could collect enough of those, that would justify sending those to Board Sort. Let's go ahead and just pull this board off as well. Okay, so I will set this one aside. These blue things, I'm not sure what those are. I'm going to go ahead and take them off. Maybe like some sort of capacitor, but my scrapyard doesn't take them, so I'll set that aside as well. Take these off. So now it's getting to where I can start taking or giving me enough room to take these transformers off. Let's work on that. And it is important to note you want to wear some type of eye protection when you're doing work like this, because pieces can easily fly off. Yeah, I think that's just another type of capacitor as well. So we have this little transformer off. It looks like there's quite a bit of adhesive. So this one I could smash it open, but it may, yeah, that may, with all the glue in there, it may not be very easy to unravel that. So I think I'll just leave the copper in there. Now this, I'm not sure what this is. Does it say on it? I guess I could look up the part number and see what that is. Let's go ahead and take that off. It has these clamps on the other side that are holding it in. I imagine it's also some sort of glue or other adhesive. Oh, that went flying. Now it does kind of look like there's some winding in here, but there is a very thick layer of glue or resin, but it does look like there's some windings of copper in, but I highly doubt I could get those out. So I'll just stick those with my other transformers. Cut these off as well. Seems like I've broken these open before, things like this, and it found like what just appears to be a roll of aluminum foil type of material. Pull the connector end off. Also gonna remove the the capacitor. Now these do have aluminum. They also have a lot of oil in them, so they're kind of messy. Here, I'm going to pull these little rolls of copper. Get this other small capacitor. Now I think I can get that off a little easier. There's that small roll of copper. Now we're left with this bigger transformer. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting. Just use my side cutters for that. Got that off as well. Now that we've finished taking that apart, let's summarize what we've got. As mentioned, the first thing that we have is the low-grade board, plus the components. We have this board, which as I mentioned has some offsets here and here, as well as an IC chip. It has all these other tiny components as well. I'll probably take off this capacitor. What I've seen done is people will take like a utility knife and cut along the edges . Twist it off like that. I've seen other people just take pliers and twist them off automatically without cutting. But yeah, that weighs hardly anything. So I'll just set that aside for a collection of IC chips that I will later send to board sort. Next, we got the little copper offsets. We have the little spools of copper. And this, which again I said I believe is copper, but like I say, it has so much glue and resin in here that I can't really tell for sure. But I will just set it in with my my other transformers, my other small transformers, that is. Then we have these transformers. As I mentioned, this one has quite a bit of glue or resin in it, so it may make it kind of hard to unravel. But this one would probably be fairly easy to unravel. All I'd have to do is, this is ferrite, which is very brittle. All I'd need to do is just smash this. The ferrite would come off, and then I could pull the copper out. And finally, the nice surprise was this brass. Again, it doesn't weigh much, but on its own I bet it's worth just as much as the rest of the board had I not taken anything else off of it. Now let's talk about the profit we made. As I mentioned in the beginning, before I disassembled this board, it weighed ½ pound. And since my scrapyard is paying 15 cents a pound for low-grade boards, that would have given me 7.5 cents. After the brass, the transformers, and the offsets had been removed from the boards, the remaining weight was 2 ounces, which gave us just under 2 cents. The transformers weighed 5 ounces, and currently my scrapyard is paying 25 cents a pound for transformers, which gave us 8 cents, and brass at my scrapyard is going for $2 a pound. This weighed 1 ounce, so that gives me 13 cents, and the offsets and the IC chip I didn't weigh because the weight was just too small. But total, that gave us 23 cents for a profit of 15.5 cents. Now money-wise, yeah, that isn't a lot of money, but that's over a 220% increase in profit by taking it apart. I could further increase that, or I believe I could further increase that, possibly by removing the copper from this, but that's for another video. Now when I'm not filming, I can do a small circuit board like this for anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So it really doesn't take all that much time, and I can take them apart while I'm doing things like watching a show or a game, listening to an audiobook, or something like that. Plus, I just think they're fun to pull apart. But let me know in the comments what you think. Are these worth taking apart? In the meantime, if you made it this far in the video, as always, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.